The way that you smell is one of the most powerful nonverbal communicating tools that you have. And the beautiful thing is that unlike things like your height, your hair color, or even your skin color, your scent is something that you have 100% control over. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't even realize that we stink. Just because you've showered or you're wearing fragrance or a deodorant doesn't mean that you actually smell good. There's some other things and factors that play a huge role in you smelling good. Today, guys, I'm going to go over a few ways for you to always smell good as a man. The first thing we got to talk about is actually your clothing, because this was something that happened to me the other day that was super embarrassing. I went to the gym, I started working out, and all of a sudden my armpits started to stink like BO. I'm like, oh my God, I stink. What the hell is going on? My clothes are clean. Well, the truth is that I was wearing a shirt that actually was made out of polyester or a synthetic fabric. A lot of the workout shirts and clothing that you wear is synthetic. Now, the good news is that it's going to repel water. The downside is that it has a very difficult time getting rid of the bacteria that causes odor that gets trapped inside the fibers. And even though after you wash it, right, you smell it, you're like, yeah, this is good, right? You put it on, you start to heat up a little bit, boom, the odor comes back. It's not that you stink, but your clothing does. And so what are you gonna do? Few options. Number one, wear natural fibers like cotton when you're exercising to cut down on the odor-causing bacteria that gets trapped. Or if you are gonna be wearing performance gear, make sure that after you work out, basically you hang the shirt up to dry, right? Whether or not you lay it over a tub or whatever. Do not wad it up and throw it into your laundry basket where the bacteria can flourish. Also, turn it inside out when you wash it. Use high heat, hot water when you're washing it on the most aggressive setting, and also make sure you're using a sport detergent that was designed to eliminate the bacteria. Which brings me to the second smell good rule. Your environment needs to smell good, whether or not it's your car or the place that you live, your room, your apartment, your house. All right, so cars are a big one, right? A lot of guys have cars that absolutely stink, whether or not it's a stinky, nasty air freshener, or it stinks like fast food, or it just smells like your ass. All this odor sticks to your body. Your bed, your sheets are one of the most nasty things ever, because when you're laying there all night, you're sweating, whether or not you realize it or not. A lot of oils, a lot of skin, a lot of juices from you, your spicy senorita, whoever, are emanating and penetrating into your sheets, into your bed. And so you got to make sure you're changing it at least once a week. Also, your carpet, you got to vacuum. Also, if you're leaving a bunch of food or stinky shit in your trash can, your room, your place, you stink. Next rule to always smell good is make sure that your breath doesn't stink and your oral hygiene game is strong. Guys, here's the deal. It doesn't matter how good you smell. You could be wearing an incredible fragrance like Halton from Perfumes. Actually, I just got it right here, Scentbird. Scentbird now has Halton from Perfumes de Marly. I'll talk a little bit about fragrance in a second. But anyway, this stuff is unfreaking believable in terms of fragrance. It's probably one of my favorite, if not the favorite fragrance that I've smelled in literally the last few years. Anyway, I'm going to link to Scentbird down below. There's a special link. There's also a special discount code to give you 55% off. I'll talk more about fragrance in a second. There's nothing that instantly kills your good smell like stinky ass breath. What are you going to do? How are you going to fix it? Gentlemen, it's pretty simple. Good oral hygiene. You got to floss every single day. Flossing removes the plaque, not to mention the food that gets stuck in between your teeth that actually decays and causes nasty ass breath. All right, you got to make sure you're flossing once a day. You also need to make sure you're brushing properly twice a day. A mouthwash, if you're going to use one, make sure that it does not have alcohol. Alcohol actually dries your mouth out, and a dry mouth is a stinky mouth. And make sure to scrape your tongue on a daily basis, all right? One of the things that causes bad breath is bad bacteria on your tongue, right? You got to remove it. Not just brush it and scrape it and move it around, but actually scrape it off. Whether or not it's something like this, an Aura brush or an actual tongue scraper, having one of these and using it daily is essential for your breath smelling amazing. The next rule to always smell good as a man is all about fragrance. Now, should you wear fragrance? The answer is yes. Should you wear the same fragrance every single day? The answer is no. If you want to smell amazing, you got to switch it up, change it up. Because the truth is, people get used to a smell if they smell it all the time. And that's the reason why I love Scentbird so much. I am addicted to this service. It's a monthly fragrance subscription service where every month they're going to send you one fragrance, all right? The amount that you actually get is not a little bit, right? It's 0.27 ounces, which means it's going to be about 120 squirts. Month number one, you're going to get your first fragrance, but you're also going to get this sexy little carrying case. It's got a lock right there, right? When you're ready, boom, unlock it and give yourself a little sexiness, right? And then month number two, the second fragrance that you selected in your queue is going to get delivered to you. Month number three, the third fragrance. It is amazing. And the crazy thing is the price, under $17 a month. But right now, for a limited time, for those of you who hit that link down below and use my discount code AlphaMScent, you're gonna get your first month for literally under $8. Literally, it's under $8. It is a huge fragrance no-brainer. Guys, I'm telling you, Scentbird is literally my favorite subscription service. I got that link down below. I've also got that discount code. The other cool thing about Scentbird is that if you want to, you can actually upgrade. Me personally, I get 3 fragrances a month. This month, I got Haltan from Parfums de Marly. If you haven't tried this fragrance, you need to, I promise. And the other cool thing, you get this little card with each of your fragrances. It shows you basically the different notes and a little information about the scent. I also got Search by Amage, a new fragrance that they came out with, guys. This one also is unbelievably sexy, right? You've got vetiver, you've also got lemon. This is a citrusy, woody fragrance that is incredible. And the third fragrance is Boozy Patchouli by, I can't pronounce it, but it is also super incredible. I was kind of on the fence with this one, but I heard so much great stuff that I was like, let me just try it. And that's one of the things that I love so much about Scentbird. If you're looking to try one that I got, guys, I'm gonna link to all 3 of them down below. Go read the reviews. These fragrances are amazing, and it's not just my opinion, but Scentbird has all of the popular brands, all the expensive brands, all the boutique-y brands, but they also have some niche fragrances, and they're the ones that I love to try because a lot of people aren't wearing them, which means you're gonna smell different than her ex-boyfriend, Brad. Hit the link down below. Scentbird is amazing. That link, it's special. Also, use that discount code. AlphaMScent is going to give you 55% off your first month of Scentbird. A few other fragrance wearing rules, guys, is never apply a fragrance to dry skin. When you've got dry skin and you spray on a fragrance, it's going to soak in. It's going to prevent you from actually smelling good. And so, a good rule of thumb is use some type of fragrance-free moisturizer. Guys, you got to make sure that when you're actually shopping for moisturizer, that it says fragrance-free on there. That way, the fragrance doesn't interfere with the fragrance that you're actually wearing. The next rule to always smell good is to properly wash your body. All right, so here's the deal. I saw this crazy Twitter study that basically asked people, hey, do you wash your legs? And the majority of men don't actually wash their legs in the shower. They think that as long as the soap is running down, they're good. Gentlemen, this is absolutely wrong. Something else that's wrong is not using some type of exfoliating tool to get into all of the nooks and crannies of your body. All right, so here's the deal. There are things like this. It's an exfoliating washcloth. You can get something like this, which is actually a tool, a loofah, to use on your back, all right? Or some type of exfoliating gloves. Guys, the bottom line is this. You gotta make sure that you are not only washing and cleaning, but you're removing the top dead layer of skin, especially in areas like your crotch and your butt. And make sure not to forget those funky ass nasty feet, all right? Something I would recommend is use some type of foot file about once a week in the shower. This is actually gonna remove the dead, crusty layer of skin or hard callus on your feet, making sure that the fresh, sexy, good smelling skin is front and center, all right, guys? The feet are one of those areas that a lot of times smell bad if you don't actually properly wash them or care for them. There's a direct correlation between young dudes and stinky ass feet, all right? So how do you solve the problem? Number 1, wash your feet. Number 2 is make sure that you're wearing a no-show sock if you're gonna be wearing some type of sneaker. Or take your favorite ball powder, right? Little sprinkle, spritz in your shoe, knock it around. This is actually gonna help absorb odor and wetness. It's also gonna prevent your feet from stinking when you actually wear your shoes, which brings me to the next thing and rule. You gotta make sure your balls smell fresh. One of the worst smelling places on a man's body is his groin and his crotch, all right? Because that's where a lot of odor and bacteria build up because it's hot, dark, and wet. And so, what are you gonna do? You gotta trim your bush, make sure you don't have a bunch of excess hair, because if you do, it's gonna trap odor and make it hotter and wetter down your pants. And also, make sure that you're powdering every single day with a high-quality, non-talc-based powder. The next rule, body sprays, don't use them. And the last thing we got to talk about, gentlemen, is your hair, because hair is one of the things that makes a lot of guys smell, even though they don't realize they smell because they can't actually smell their hair. Guys, hair traps odor. If you're somebody that is not washing their hair with a deep cleansing shampoo, like literally every day, chances are that your hair and your scalp starts to stink after a little while, because that is where a lot of oil builds up on your hair, right? Also, hair traps odor. So if your car stinks, your hair stinks. If your plate place stinks, your hair stinks. If you went into a bar, your hair stinks. You gotta make sure you get in there, gentlemen. You gotta wash it. You gotta scrub it. You gotta make sure you're getting all the buildup and crap off of your scalp so that your hair and your scalp is not only clean, hygienic, it doesn't have a bunch of flakes, and it doesn't smell horrible. Gentlemen, that's it. Bottom line is this. If you wanna always smell good as a man, do the things we talked about in today's video, and you will.